have been.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no move.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars Nerds podcast. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson.
And we are entering our second week of social distancing, aka quarantine, whatever the hell you want to call it, COVID-19. How are you holding up, Kenton?
Fine. Yeah, why? Not you?
It's a little boring. I'm trying to do some things to make things a little more interesting. I started another movie challenge. I don't know if you saw that on Instagram, but I'm starting to watch. I'm hoping that all this will have blown over by the time my birthday rolls around at the end of April. So I'm watching. I mean, be optimistic. I don't know.
Not a chance.
Okay, we'll see. But in the meantime, I'm watching a movie for every year of my life until I turn 44 on April 28th. So far, I'm actually a little bit. It doesn't have to be one movie per night. Although it was until last night when I just could not decide on what to watch from 1979. What I've learned in this, just the first few years, is that I've seen pretty much all the great movies of the 70s. Like there's not a lot there that I haven't seen, because the challenge is for me to see movies I haven't seen before. So yeah, last night it was like a choice between the Apple Dumpling Gang and Rock and Roll High School. I think I'm probably going to watch Rock and Roll High School, but
have to.
I just wasn't in the mood last night. I'm like, I just don't feel like it. So I didn't watch it. I'll probably do a double feature tonight and keep going with that. So that's part of what I'm doing. I'm also, I have the kids part of the time. So I'm, just doing a little bit of the homeschooling thing as well. So it's been okay, I guess.
That's pretty good. We got a couple cats spayed yesterday.
Oh, lovely. Did you have to wait outside?
Yeah.
So that happened with our dog. Well, my ex has the dog, but he was having a seizure, so she had to bring him to the vet. He's okay. He just needs to take medication for now for the rest of his life. But
for $10,000 a month.
Exactly. But yeah, she took him to the vet, and she said they had to wait outside. They basically took him in, and they waited out in the car while they treated him and did all that stuff. And that's pretty much how it goes. And that's actually happening at a lot of health clinics around the city and other places as well.
I thought you could order a vet through Skip the Dishes.
Yeah, that's right. But we are, of course, here to talk about Star Wars, and we had actually quite a bit of interesting news coming out this week.
So much.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but first I have some Star Wars clickbait.
What? How? What are you talking about? Huh? What? Goodness gracious me.
This is the headline. This is from Sci-Fi Wire, which I believe is the kind of the blog of the Sci-Fi Network in the States. This says, out of the Rise of Skywalker documentary reveals Oscar Isaac's contribution to a pivotal scene. What could that be?
What is it?
Okay, well, let me guess. Let's take a guess. What do you think? What's the pivotal scene that he contributed to?
The part where he and Finn make out and reveal that they're in love with each other.
No, that's not it.
Okay, let me think. What would the pivotal scene be for real?
I find it hard to remember actual scenes from the movie at this point, because I've only seen it the two times. And this is, of course, coming out of the Rise of Skywalker is available on demand, like on digitally for sale right now. It's not on rent. It's not available for rent or for purchase in physical form, although nobody's going to be going out to the store to buy it physically anyway, but I guess you could order it if you wanted to.
On the 31st, it's available for rent.
Yeah, for rent. Okay. So, but yeah, what do you think?
Let me think. What was it? It has to be something with Zori Bliss.
No, it's not as much as you thought it was. It is the scene in which he sits there beside Leia's body and talks to her about how he can't handle leading the Resistance. It's not like a great scene in my opinion, but this is and you can tell this is written like, when these things are written about the Rise of Skywalker. It starts with Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker faced a number of major narrative challenges that it had to resolve in just a couple of hours. As director and co-writer J.J. Abrams emphasized numerous times while promoting the film, this was not just the conclusion of 3 films, but of 9 films. That's not true. Like we've already said that it didn't do a good job of that. And this piece is obviously kind of a fluff piece about it. But the pivotal scene is, it's the one in which then they weren't originally going to have a scene that Poe is sitting there beside Leia's corpse talking to her. He suggested that to JJ, and they kind of came up with some lines, and he said them, and that was it. That's the pivotal scene. So,
Well, that to me is more accurately outlines the problem with the filmmaking process.
yeah, that's
Because
exactly
people were
it.
making up crap as they went along.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's a bit of a letdown that headline. It certainly does not deliver. And I guess we'll figure out. I wonder if we're going to be able to do, if we could watch it together remotely. I wonder if that's possible.
Well, sure, it would be.
We could probably figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, we could start if we rented it at the same time and did the old, assuming the buffering isn't as bad as it is on this WebEx. Right. We could probably do it.
Well, I'm just waiting for the whole internet to just collapse right now because so many people are using it for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like
it would.
We had power outages. I heard a student yesterday for one of their classes. We've been doing these web classes. A student, her power went out, so she drove to the nearby Tim Hortons to sit and use their Wi-Fi for class for an hour. She sat in her car for an hour during class. That's
why I'm kind of not a WebEx guy for classes. and not just that, it takes away the main good thing about all of this, which is not having to bathe.
Well, you have to wear a nice, kind of nice shirt, like a presentable shirt. But I'm wearing sweatpants right now. I'm going to be honest. I'm not wearing real pants.
I'm not wearing real pants. Those are real pants.
Well, they're pants, but they're not like the kind of. I couldn't wear sweatpants to work.
It's not like a kilt.
No, it's not.
In many ways, they're better than a kilt.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the big news that came out this past week, it was last week that it was revealed that Rosario Dawson is going to be playing Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian, in season 2 of The Mandalorian. So we finally get a real life version of Ahsoka, which is a character we've only ever seen in animated form up until now.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Is it? Yeah, you pretty stoked about that?
Well, there's yes and no. On the plus side, I think that's good. It's good casting.
She's a really good actress. She was good in the Daredevil series. She's done a ton of different movies, and she's been very good in everything. It's interesting now because she is like part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now she's going to be part of the Star Wars universe, right? So she's got different roles in those different properties.
If there's two negatives, though, I'd say the first one is now we kind of know what the solution to where's Baby Yoda going.
Oh, you think Ahsoka's going to take him?
Well, I mean, she'll be involved in it in one form or another, so that's bad. I wish I didn't know that. And the other thing that's too bad is Dave Filoni's desire to work Ahsoka into anything he's working on.
Now, okay, this is what's divided the community a little bit because there are people who love Ahsoka and there are people who hate Ahsoka, and certainly Dave Filoni seems to really like her. I don't mind her. I think it was she's a bit of an annoying character early on in the Clone Wars, like just because she's young and kind of like a go-getter, and I think she's meant to be an annoying character in a way. She's annoying to Anakin because he has to take on this apprentice. But through the course of that series, she becomes a better character, and she is actually in the new season. Is she not? Is she showing up in the new season?
Did you watch the last episode?
I'm totally not up to date on the Clone Wars, so I don't know.
Well, I did. Yeah, she's in the last episode of the Clone Wars. It's not I mean, it was in all the trailers and stuff, so it's not a spoiler or anything. And even the episode itself, it was fine. It was probably better than the Bad Batch episodes, I'd say, overall. But the Bad Batch of episodes. Just
right.
kidding.
No, they're never going to get rid of that name.
Yeah, but I don't. There was like nothing that came out of that particular episode that's going to shake the Star Wars universe. Let's put it that way.
No, but again, all that stuff happens before episode 3, the films. Yeah. Now, that's the one question that we have is like, now we've seen her in Rebels. We've seen her between the prequels and the original trilogy. That's when Rebels takes place. The Mandalorian takes place after the original trilogy. So now we know she survives, although they kind of hinted at that. They didn't really, it was a bit of an open-ended ending with her in Rebels, but now we know she survives and she lives past that point. But the question is, why doesn't she show up in episode 3? If she was, they have to obviously have to backfill this because it's already happened. She didn't exist when episode 3 was made, right? That's a character Dave Filoni came up with for the Clone Wars. So they have to really explain why she's not around during that. She's Anakin's apprentice. Why is she not around during the point in which he turns into Darth Vader?
Well, there's blanks in the story. There's no doubt about that. And but I think like to finally make it live action and on a show that has not made many missteps, on a show that's actually good.
Yeah.
I think is good, bodes well for that character and bodes well for the Star Wars universe. But I also don't want the Mandalorian to become famous Star Wars character of the week.
Okay.
Like, did you hear the other casting news?
No.
You didn't hear about it yesterday?
All I heard was that we'll be seeing other faces, familiar faces. So what is the news?
Well, the news yesterday was our friend from the Terminator, Michael Biehn. Remember him?
Yeah.
He's in The Mandalorian.
Oh, cool. I like him.
So yeah, I love him, and he has really not done anything for quite some time. Like
he just does James Cameron movies. That's all he ever did.
Right,
he was in The Abyss. He was in Terminator. He was not in Titanic, but that's like the only one. He was not in Avatar either. But
tradition of 80s celebrities being in The Mandalorian.
Oh, he was in Aliens, right? He was Hicks.
Great in that.
Or Hudson, one of those two. I always mix those two up. Hudson or Hicks.
Hicks.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, he's in a couple of really good James Cameron movies, and he's in one of those great. I think he's a great action kind of actor.
Yeah.
I could see him being like a grizzled bounty hunter or something like that. I could definitely see him doing that. But they don't say what character he's playing.
They do not say.
Okay.
And Steele Saunders yesterday said he wanted people to Photoshop him onto Dash Rendar.
That's right. I was just thinking that he'd make a good Dash Rendar, for sure.
I thought of who the last person I would want him to be. Are you ready?
Okay.
I would not like it if he were Ezra.
No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work.
Worse. It's worse than Dash Rendar.
Yeah. Now but there you go. There's a character that we could see. If we can see an Ahsoka Tano, we could definitely see Ezra come into this series. The piece I read said that it was an interview with Jon Favreau when he said we will see some characters from the original trilogy pop up. Now we have already kind of. We saw, well, it wasn't Salacious Crumb, but it was another of his species. We've seen different things, different hints to the original trilogy. But if we're talking about specific characters, who do you think might show up from the original trilogy?
Well, I've been sort of racking my brain at who could Michael Biehn be playing somebody we know already.
I don't think so. I don't think that's possible.
It's a tough one. It's possible. I just haven't put my mind to really like going through the possibilities.
Yeah.
But earlier this week, I thought of, and he wouldn't be playing this role, but I thought Sabine, the Mandalorian, Sabine Wren, that if Ahsoka was on there, she could be on there.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially since she is a Mandalorian. So that would make perfect sense. But I just can't, like, as I say, I can't be hero of the week. And it can't be, I don't think we want CGI Luke, because this is post Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, no, they'd have to CGI everybody, even like Harrison Ford, they'd have to like youngify him or whatever, and they're not going to do that. Plus, I don't think he would do that. I don't think he'd be in, I think he's done with Star Wars now. Let's hope, like he's completely done. So they couldn't do a traditional character. They could do Lobot. No, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the side characters, right? Like the people that
I know.
I mean, we could see 3PO and R2D2. That's a possibility. That's always a possibility. As long as Anthony Daniels lives and breathes, he can still do that. Right? So there's a possibility to see them.
We definitely don't want Star Wars guest of the week.
No, we don't. But I don't think whoever we see is gonna be a regular character in the show, because the show seems to be really good at creating its own new characters. So like all these people that we've come to know through the course of this series so far has been new. So I don't know who could be.
Part of the math that I'm doing in my head is the Dave Filoni math.
Okay.
Like,
you have to wear a hat to do that math.
You put on your cowboy hat and you're like, how can I wedge in Ahsoka and Darth Maul into everything? And I think Darth Maul is a good possibility, truth be told.
Oh yes, that's true. No, actually, he died though. He died in Rebels. Obi-Wan killed him
in Rebels. But what is that? What era is that?
That's before A New Hope. So he dies before A New Hope. So he's not going to show up in the Mandalorian.
Not true.
Yep.
I can't remember now.
See, this is the problem. There's so many different freaking timelines and things happening. It's all retroactive.
Wait a sec. They built him metal legs. Oh, come on. Anything's possible.
Well, the thing is, I don't remember the exact way he died. I don't remember how he was cut. How was he cut?
He faced off with Obi-Wan in the Tatooine desert.
Yeah, but did he cut off his head, or did he cut his arms, or what happened, or did you just stab him
through the chest?
Okay, well, maybe he has a second heart. I don't know. I just can't. I think we got to be done with. I think Darth Maul will have probably a place in the Clone Wars animated series. This season. We'll probably see him pop up. We're never going to get a sequel to Solo. That was the other opportunity to have Darth Maul show up again. But I think we're done with Darth Maul. I think we have to be done with Darth Maul at this point.
Well, look, I have to throw this out into the mix because I told you last week on Media Nerds that I was playing Wolfenstein: The New Colossus.
Which I downloaded and I haven't played it yet.
It's freaking great. It's bonkers and it's pretty fun. And I'm not done it yet, but there's a scene in Wolfenstein and I was like, this is Darth Maul, where you are beheaded. You get beheaded, and it's just part of the story. And your head goes falling, and you're like, this must be the end of the game. But no, a drone catches your head and delivers it to the medical team, who puts it on ice. Who puts your head, and then you get to see out of the tube that your head is in, and then they successfully transplant it onto a new body.
Awesome.
And I was like, hey, here you go. Here is the precedent and template for Darth Maul. All you need is a head and a drone.
Well, it's basically Darth Vader had one arm left. Anakin only had one arm left after all of that, right? Before he got turned into Darth Vader.
Yeah.
One was actually his he could only reach up with one. He had both legs and the other arm cut off. So I guess Bacta can heal anything, maybe. Is that the answer? Is that
Bacta? Oh, and the Force healing. The Force healing.
Right. Oh yes, that's right. I forgot about that.
It can heal anything or anybody.
Anybody can come back to life. That's basically
not Qui-Gon. He died too soon.
I guess they hadn't invented that yet. Is that the thing? Well, and because they had established Qui-Gon being in the other realm or whatever, right? Because he came back and talked to Yoda. I still would like to see that scene. I'd still like to see a version of that where Qui-Gon comes back and talks to somebody. The best casting of that first film was Liam Neeson in that role, I think, and just kind of wasted him with that one movie, and that was it.
It's one of the most frustrating elements of that movie is when he's like, hey, I got some news for you. I've been talking to Qui-Gon. And that's like the classic show, but don't, tell, don't show.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I'm very excited about Rosario Dawson being involved, and I think it's going to be a great second season of The Mandalorian. We'll just have to wait and see what they come up with, but let's I don't know. Do you know if this coronavirus thing is it delaying production at all, or is anything happening with that? Is that?
Well, I was under the impression that The Mandalorian season 2 had been shot.
Oh, okay.
Now, maybe not. I mean, if they're saying Michael Bihn's been cast, well, what's happened? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. And
in theory, The Mandalorian is better than most shows in terms of being able to do it and keeping everybody isolated from one another.
There's been actually quite a few Mandalorian memes and jokes like never take your helmet off. That's how you stay safe from the COVID-19. You never take your helmet off. This is the way.
It's him and an animatronic puppet. So, the odds of catching it are pretty minimal on that show.
In terms of the crew and the set and people working on the show, that would be an issue, I think. Because we've heard about other productions shutting down or closed, like you talked about Fargo last week and that kind of thing. So still a possibility. But I hope so far they haven't said anything like that it's been delayed. So good to go.
And I would want the episodes even without an ending at this point.
If they couldn't finish them all?
Oh, feed them up. I love that show. And, to me, it's the only reason I really have Disney Plus.
Well, for me,
to watch that show.
As I said, I started watching the Apple Dumpling Gang Returns on Disney Plus yesterday for my movie. And who knew that in that group, Don Knotts is the smart one.
That's right.
Tim Conway, Don Knotts. Don Knotts is the smart one. And so that was a decent Disney Plus. I have not been watching the Clone Wars, as I said. as I've just I went with the movie thing just because I haven't really been into a bunch of TV shows at this point, although I'm watching like Westworld and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a bit of a dry spell for me for TV shows.
And I don't think we have official confirmation on Ahsoka, on Rosario Dawson being Ahsoka. I think it's all leaked to Variety. Is it not?
Well, I've got this thing about from Forbes. This is a column that says, of course, now that they've cast her in a live action, that they're going to make a series. And this is all speculation. This is not, no, it's not saying much here. Carl Weathers is set to direct an episode.
That's good.
That's good. Cool.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not even sure that it's confirmed. I don't think it is. I think it's just
Oh, this is just variety. Yeah, it's just Variety. It doesn't say.
Although it's probably true. I mean, I think that one's true. Michael Biehn, I don't know if that one's been confirmed either.
So do you think that that's a correct assumption that now that they've cast her, they will make an Ahsoka Tano series?
Yeah, I think that's a good possibility. I mean, we don't know how many seasons The Mandalorian's going to be.
Right.
So there's that too. But I mean, the more Star Wars series on Disney Plus, the better.
Yeah, this seems to be the main focus that they're going in now. No further news on any movies or anything else happening with the movies at this point. They're going full in on the series, which is fine. So we will get the Obi-Wan series, what's his name? I always forget his name. Guy from Rogue One.
Oh, Cassian Andor.
Cassian Andor, yes, thank you. We'll get that series, and then another one, possibly Ahsoka Tano. And it's fine. It's like I said, right now we can't go to the movie theater anyway, so I might as well be able to stay at home and watch this stuff at home.
Well, yeah, and but although I'm going to be honest here and say I'm cheaping out on Rise of Skywalker because I dropped all that money for the premiere for most tickets that didn't get used.
It's right.
So part of me is like I've got this grudge about like I'm going to make my money back on this thing. So I just wish that they just put it on Disney Plus.
They should. Yes, I agree. I don't think they're going to make a ton of money doing it this way as they usually would. The reception to this movie is not been good, and I don't think people are chomping at the bit to see this. Although many people may have missed it in the theaters because it had kind of a bad word of mouth. But I think you're right. I think that they just go ahead and put it on Disney Plus and let us watch it there. I mean, they kind of did that with Frozen 2. Like I think they had Frozen 2 out for a little bit on available for whatever digital purchase, whatever they say. But now it's just Disney Plus. So I don't think now that we've seen them do this, why wouldn't people just wait to watch on Disney Plus? Right?
Yeah, that's sort of where the boat I'm in.
Those who want to buy it will buy it. Like that's just the way it is. It's not going to change. Like I shouldn't say that. I will eventually buy all the Star Wars movies again, probably. But at this point, I'm not interested in buying that movie as a standalone film. You want to wait for like a box set or something like that to come out with some cool stuff in it. So I don't think that they're going to lose any customers just by putting it on Disney Plus. I think that anybody who really wants to buy it will still buy it.
I think that's true. I'll say something else though, and that is when I'm watching scenes. Like now you can see most scenes just on YouTube.
Right. Once the Blu-ray comes out, people rip that stuff onto YouTube really quickly.
Right. So I've been watching some of the scenes over on YouTube and stuff, and I have to say it is not really spurring me to want to see the movie again. It's kind of funny. If anything, it's kind of stopping me from wanting to see it again.
Like I still maintain that both times I saw it in the theater, I did enjoy it. I thought it was fun. I did not have a bad time watching it. It's only after the fact that I've had more time to think about it and read all the stuff about it that I'm like, oh man, this wasn't that great idea. But I don't know that I don't really feel an urgency to go see it again. Again, like we might wait till Disney Plus to do our watch along.
Maybe
it depends on how long that takes, but certainly I'm not going to buy it right now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, we're dealing with an entertainment economy that's just gonna get it. It's gonna get hammered so bad. Did you see that last weekend for the first time the international box office was zero? Never happened. There's nothing.
Is every theater closed? That's what's happened? Yeah. Unbelievable.
So this is our chance to open a movie theater and run our own movie and have the #1 box office.
Just individual booths. Oh wait, that's a different kind of theater. Maybe not. Maybe not.
That's the Madonna "Open Your Heart" video.
That's right. I talked about last week on Media Nerds. I talked about my favorite virus transmission movies, and one of them was Outbreak, and I watched it, and it's actually pretty good. I definitely would recommend checking out Outbreak if you haven't. It was available for rent on demand, so it's not like on a streaming service. It's just on demand. It was like $5. And the one scene that got me was the movie theater scene where the guy goes to the movies and he's sick and he's coughing all over the place, and you see like the germs point of view as it goes through the air and it goes into like other people's mouths and stuff. It's so disgusting. And then he goes, "I need water." And he goes and he like stumbles his way out of that. He's like pushing his way through a lineup of people at the concession stand. He's like touching them all, and it's like totally the opposite of social distancing. So if there's any movie you want to watch to encourage the social distancing, that's the one. Sure.
Hey, you know what I find when I watch any movie now, and people are hugging and they're shaking hands and they're like group hugs and everything. And like every movie now, I'm like, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. That's not good.
We're now so hyper aware of transmission of viruses. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, even the Ewok celebration is probably, you're like, oh, that's a bad idea. They're all gonna get super sick.
Oh, those Ewoks, yeah, those,
Don't eat Han Solo. You don't know. Be carrying something.
Oh man, but yeah, it's certainly an interesting time to be a Star Wars fan, to be any kind of a fan, just because we have not a lot to do right now, and we're all catching up on different stuff. I have not even considered doing a Star Wars marathon at this point. I don't know. I'm just not in the mood for that right now.
More of a summer thing.
Yeah, it is.
I like to do that in the summer.
Like I usually do it in the lead up to a new movie. I didn't this time around. But now that we don't have another movie coming out anytime soon, maybe I'll wait till the summertime to do it.
Yeah, like and I sort of like, I always like going back and seeing the original trilogy. That to me, like when you go back to that one and then see how everything branches off of it, it's a pretty interesting. Now, like this is sort of like when I was a kid, I remember thinking, oh, I just wish I could see all of them. Like, oh, I could go into the future and see all of them. And in a way, it's like having the wish you had when you were a kid, which was to be able to like just go, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next. And
I saw a video recently on YouTube that was talking about how, it's like a listicle video. 10 times cartoons have predicted the future, and it talks about times where like Simpsons said Donald Trump was going to be president and that kind of stuff. And they had one episode of Futurama where they actually showed a marquee, and it was Star Wars 9. So like, oh, Futurama predicted a 9th Star Wars movie. At the time, they were still doing the prequels. Like it was back in the early 2000s. Yeah. And the title of the film was Yoda's Bar Mitzvah. That doesn't make any sense, because Yoda is certainly older. Maybe baby Yoda's bar mitzvah. Maybe we'll see his bar mitzvah.
I have my photo album of Empire Strikes Back clippings. Yeah. I kept when I was a kid when that came out. And there's an interview with George Lucas, and he himself is talking about there's going to be 9 movies. It's going to end at this year, and it's like it's off. But I mean, he was saying it. He said it himself. It's not a wild prediction, because he himself was saying that ages ago. Yeah. But then later, he went back on it. It was like, no, I only ever said there'd be 6. Like he started.
Oh no! I'm sure that I heard that interview at some point where he said no. Yeah. The thing is that but we never did get his last 3. Like he had a different vision for those final 3 movies than we got, and I wonder what it would have been different about it, and whether or not we would have enjoyed that more.
One day we'll find out.
You think?
I think we will. I think we'll find out.
Talk about it in an interview or something?
Well, I actually think that maybe some of that stuff from the art of The Force Awakens appears to go in a direction that film ultimately did not go in. Mm-hmm. And that movie was rewritten. And my guess is the artists were going concurrent to the script being written or rewritten by J.J. Abrams. Okay. And so I think some of the stuff in the art of Star Wars, Force Awakens, it wouldn't surprise me if that was some of George's original plan. Yeah. When you look at, I love that Art of Star Wars book. That's one of my favorite ones, actually, to look at.
Yeah. I don't have that one. I've got my Solo. I've got Solo and I've got Rogue One.
You have it right there.
Right here, yeah. It was just on my. I was trying to. I have my set here for my. You can't see it. We're on webcam, by the way, for the listeners. But I have my FanQuest poster in the background and stuff. I'm trying to do my setup for when I see students. I'm noticing every instructor when we do these web conferences, everyone's got kind of interesting backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah, what
And
have I got?
well, you've got like a picture on the thing there. That's pretty
That's
good.
me. That's a
Yeah.
picture of me sitting in Central Park.
Okay. In New York?
There. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There. And next to it, I've got, you can't see it in the frame, but just off frame, I've got my Eaton's brick.
That's awesome. See, but another one of these conferences, I remember seeing you, and you were in your Star Wars room. I thought you were in your
Yes.
toy room. So that would be a cool backdrop if you're going to do a class. You want to impress the students with your Star Wars collection.
You know, as I say, I don't think I'm going to do WebEx. I'm going to explain to them why. Maybe not in this Twitter. Maybe on this Twitter chat. I'll explain why. But I just don't. You know, the buffering, the freezing, the must put on shirt, the.
Yeah, it's
And what if some people have home situations where it's not conducive to
right. Yeah, that's true.
on the
That's
video?
a very true
You know,
thing.
like kids running, or you know what that's all about.
I've already had my son. So Luke, his favorite thing to do yesterday, the kids were here and I had a couple of classes and his favorite thing to do is come on behind me, and this chair, well, sitting in has it's down already, but it's the kind of chair that drops when you pull the thing, like the hydraulic chair that drops. So his favorite thing is to come up behind me and pull it so I drop suddenly. And just to kind of go, whoa, just to scare me while I'm live on with the students, and then the students get a laugh out of that. So
I'll bet they do.
yeah.
I've been saying to the students from day one, they all think they're going to have kids. And I said, if you want to have kids, I want you to look into Dan Vadabunker's eyes before you decide to have kids. I said, that'll tell you the whole story. That's all you need to know.
They're joyful. They're the best part of my life. I know what you're talking about.
Well, that's what everyone who says kids or who has kids says. They would say they would never change that or go back on it. And then everyone like me who doesn't have kids is like, oh, I've dodged a bullet.
Especially now, when you would have been stuck inside with them all the time.
That's right.
For the next couple of weeks.
Well, and you know, and you must also think about. I mean, this is off topic for Star Wars, but you've established your kids aren't Star Wars fans anymore, or they're sort of fading away.
Yeah, Luke is still a little bit, but not much.
Yeah, that would drive me crazy.
But the problem is, look what we have to choose from. This is Star Wars, really, because look what they have to choose from. Like, we had this incredible trilogy of films that came out, and then that was it, and that's all we had. We had to rewatch them and just kind of celebrate that. And now they've got all the Star Wars to choose from, and some of it is good, some of it is very not good, and it just there's no focus, and they really can't like pick one single thing to say this is my favorite part of Star Wars, and that's kind of part of the problem. I don't think we're going to have a new generation of Star Wars fans out of this. Maybe from the Mandalorian, maybe from the TV series, that remains to be seen. But as far as these films go, no, not going to happen. Clearly there is a fan base that grew up with the Clone Wars and with the prequels. Those are the ones being very moved right now by the Clone Wars series. I'm not one of those people, but there are a lot of people out there. But that's not my kids. That's the generation before my kids. That's the millennials, I guess. My kids are, I don't know what generation they are.
Z.
Yeah, we're Z. We're Canadian, damn it. Call them Z. Hey, speaking of that, wouldn't it be cool if they actually showed us an alien like Zed in the Mandalorian? Like that alien, of course, based on the previous kind of concept sketch of Chewbacca, an original concept sketch. They made it a reality. They made him a character in Rebels. They made another character in the Jedi Fallen Order, the Master, same species. I think it would be really cool to see one of those guys in real life.
Yeah.
We should see that. Yeah,
I agree. But at the same time, what I don't want is to see the entire Rebels team in live.
So we could see. I see now. I can't remember what happens in the other Rebels. Who dies? The guy, Freddie Prinze Jr. dies, right?
Who did he play? No,
he was the blind Jedi Master with the ponytail.
Right.
Did he die at the end?
I think he did.
Yeah. So he's out. Freddie Prinze.
I can't even remember.
But Freddie Prinze Jr. is going to play a real life version of that because he didn't even look like the guy.
The blind Jedi.
He wasn't blind originally, but he became blind afterwards. We have that.
He became even more knowing.
Right, of course, because yeah.
His vision improved when you went blind.
You have the Twi'lek girl Hera, I think her name was. She was the pilot of the Ghost.
Hera.
Hera. I think she's still alive. Probably Chopper is still out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Sabine, I think, is the most likely person we would see in the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's Ezra. I mean, Ezra is just like, I don't think we just
don't do
want
it.
We don't want it. I don't know why, because I don't know. But if it's Dave Filoni, you never know, because he did Rebels. He might want to do this for the Mandalorian. Although he's in charge of the Mandalorian, is he? It's Jon Favreau. Is Filoni part of it?
He's part. I think he's part. Is he not on board the production crew?
Yeah, but he's not he's not the showrunner. He just gets in there. He's just in there for the cameos. That's all he wants. He just wants to be in Star Wars. All this was leading up to that cameo.
I thought of something worse. He is in the Mandalorian as Cad Bane with that big hat.
Oh, poor Dave.
Well, remember what we said, our least favorite moment of the Mandalorian, which is when he's an X-wing pilot.
Yeah,
because
it takes you out of it.
I hate the Star Wars wish fulfillment where famous people or people involved get to be in Star Wars.
Did you see that? Have you watched are you up on Westworld?
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay, did you see the Game of Thrones cameo?
I saw.
That's ridiculous. That's so bad.
Oh, I kind of got a kick out of that.
Well, it was clearly made at a time where they thought Game of Thrones is still going to be popular, and it's not. Like, it's not something anybody talks about anymore, because everyone hated the last season. But they had the idea to put those guys in that a long time ago because they had to come up with that shot of the dragon.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I guess so. But it was kind of like
all those.
Yeah, very much so. But whatever.
Oh, and are you up to date with Curb?
No.
Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No, I'm not. But here's the thing about Curb Your Enthusiasm. I can drop in at any time, and I have, because I often will watch it. Like, I just felt one episode that recorded was like, how sometimes like the recorded episode is jerky and like it cuts out and stuff. So that one didn't work. So then I stopped watching it and then just kind of built up on my PVR, and I haven't continued because I have to watch that one on streaming services now. But I have dropped in occasionally, and whenever I do, instantly what's happening. Like, it's the kind of show where you can literally turn it on anytime, not know anything other than the fact that it's Larry David and he's an asshole, and that's pretty much all you need. And it's hilarious. It's so funny. I saw the part of the one with John Hamm, and I'm like, I know exactly what's happening here, and it's so funny. It was a great like 10 minutes of that episode that I watched.
That's a good episode.
I'm not up on Curb, but we'll talk about that in Media Nerds at some point once all that stuff's wrapped up.
I'm not going to spoil anything except to say in the finale there are cameos.
Oh, okay.
And,
cool.
And once again,
so the finale was on already. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was the last Sunday.
Okay.
So there's some cameos, and I don't know. I wonder. I sort of avoided reading about it. I enjoyed the cameos, but I think in some cases people won't. I have a feeling there's one.
Well, maybe now there's something for me to watch now that I'm not watching my movies. I'll still watch my 70s movies, but I need something else to watch. So maybe I'll catch up on Curb.
Guess what I get to finally see this week?
What?
1917.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so much better in your living room.
It's gonna be better. No coronavirus.
Oh, but it's like, it was so good seeing it in the theater. It was such a good movie.
We've traced the coronavirus call, and it's coming from inside your house, Stan.
Oh no, I knew it.
Hot Toys has come out with their Mandalorian and Baby Yoda figures. Have you seen them?
No.
It is stunning. Like, it's off the charts good.
Okay, well, it's Hot Toys so they're known for that.
It's crazy. Like,
Googling it now.
I can't remember I remember just looking at the price and going, totally worth it.
Totally worth it?
Yeah, like whatever it was. And like, you could look at it and just think it's a picture from the show. It's so good.
It is the 1/6 scale.
Yeah.
$243.
Yeah. Not bad.
What else do they have? Baby Yoda, you said?
Yeah, it's one toy.
I'm trying to find it. Oh, it's one toy together. Oh, that's not what I'm looking at. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, that's very cute.
It's solid. I think it's like
scale relative to the balance. It's exactly scaled to the. So the whole thing is $350.
Yeah.
For the two of them together, it's $350.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
That's worth it.
Well, in a down economy, maybe not.
But those are like, those are like super detailed, like cloth robes and everything. Yeah. It's very authentic. It's very well put together. Those Hot Toys. Yeah. That looks cool. Yeah. Well, now we know what to get Kenton for his birthday.
Please do. My birthday's in September. Will we be able to leave our homes by then?
Let's hope. We can only hope. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
Kenton Larson, don't let the Force hit you in the ass.
That's no moon.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Okay.